Here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our seventh video here of the Fellas Fantasy Football League 2022. Week 7 recap and week 8 preview. We're going to just completely forget about last week and act like it never happened. So sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was on a cruise and Ryan was busy, and I only feel bad for one person, and that's Lindo, because that's who we probably would have had on since he took down the champ that week. The guy that was in first place took down Bing, and then somehow did half that same score the next week. I don't know how he does it.
Like we call, Lindo is either 150 or 75.
Yeah, so we got a special guest this week. We got ourselves Donald Lowe joining us. Maybe if the screen will go forward, that'd be great.
There it is.
There we go. Mr. Donald Lowe, aka Dirty Mike and the Boys. For some of you that don't know, that's who our guest is. Some of us in the golf world call him Daryl. I don't really know why, but maybe Ryan knows.
He's got about 100 names.
I'll tell it to you.
Yeah, he is the sole person responsible for all road construction delays. I don't care what company it is. He's the person that is responsible. I always text him.
His fault.
He's currently in 9th place. So him and me and Ryan, we're basically the 3 worst teams, I believe. Tyson might be in there too. However, he's the 5th highest scored. And the reason he's 2 and 5 is he has the 3rd highest in points against. So, and he gave up the first win to Mr. Glaze, our commissioner. How are you doing today, Donald?
You're welcome. You're welcome, Glaze, for that.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Just a nice guy. Always a nice guy. I got nothing but good things to say about you.
I'm glad you brought up the points thing, because that was going to be the first thing I brought up is 5th highest points and 2 and 5. And I've got Tyson beat by 150 points, and he's got a better record than me. What do you think? Go figure.
I'm looking at this stuff right now. That's awesome.
Isn't that nuts?
933 points for. Oh, that's brutal, bro. Brutal.
I mean, you met my average for points against. You know, I'm averaging 140 points against, and that's what you scored last week. So good for you, man.
Hey, I'm doing what I got to do.
I can't believe that's what you're averaging. And then there's 2 more that are getting more points scored against you, which I think Ryan's one of them.
Yeah, it's me and Quail Man.
He's got me by a few points. He's got me by a few points.
Yeah, I've only got Donald by 5 points, not much. But then Quail Man's over 1,000. He's got the most points against him. Still 4 and 3. So what's your excuse, Donald?
Yeah.
I just got to score more. That's all. That's the only thing you're in control of.
I hear that helps to win.
And at the right time. So, I mean, you don't have a bad team as far as points wise. What are some of the things that you look at, like going into a draft, or as the season goes, as far as who you pick up or maybe consider trading for or getting rid of?
I mean, it's both just projecting how you think someone's going to do that year. I mean, I thought a big one for me with my keeper with Cortland Sutton. I didn't have any like big names, but I figured with Russell Wilson going in, he was going to get a ton of look, and that's panned out to be a no bueno.
It was a noble pot.
Oh my god! And then week to week, you're just kind of looking for good matchups. I think one of my free agent pickups, Jamal Williams, with Swift went down. I mean, that was a good one for a couple of weeks, but with Swift coming back, that might be out the window, and then you just got to pray the injury bug doesn't hit you. I think the only real bad one I've had is Cordell Patterson. Which he was kind of doing well for me for a little bit. And not really an injury, but the McCaffrey trade kind of hurt me last week with, basically them using him a quarter of the time and him only getting 8 points last week.
So how do you think that's going to go as, maybe as both a Niners fan and a person that has him on your fantasy team? Do you think that's going to pan out better for both him and the Niners or your team?
I think so. I mean, you saw the first 3 carries, he was averaging about 10 yards a clip. So, I mean, if they use him as an every down back, I mean, I think he's gonna eat in that system. It's just a matter of how much they split carries with Wilson.
Yeah, totally. And then Elijah Mitchell, I think, is coming back in a week or two. But
yeah, I'm kind of curious what they do with him. I just saw they signed Tevin Coleman to the practice squad. But yeah, I'm curious when Mitchell comes back what they do.
How many running backs do you guys need? Like, Jesus.
Well, yeah, they cut Coleman, right? So they can make room for Verrett, right? But yeah, we're not here to talk about the Niners. So, why would I want to ruin my day?
Right.
I do see that you also have the number 1 tight end in the league, or maybe number 2, depending on where Andrews is at with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I was gonna wear a something Kelsey related in honor of Joey's 28 yards, 4 TDs, eat a dick line. But after the team rolled us, I said, no, I'm probably not gonna do that.
Little do you know, that whole night, Joey and I were going back and forth on a group text, and I was arguing with him who's better, Kelsey or Kittle. And I had no idea he was going against Kelsey at the time, and dude, he was getting
Yeah,
pissed. It was awesome.
it was funny. I was on our cruise, so we're 8 hours ahead, and I didn't get to watch the game because it was on at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up and saw that line. I couldn't believe it. 7 catches for 4 TDs and 28 yards.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
What's your take on Ezekiel Elliott this week? How do you think that's going to work out? Did you see the hit? You see the leg? You see what happened?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too bad. I mean, he's been kind of a question mark all year anyway. I mean, shit, 3 or 4 years ago, he's probably top 3 pick, and now he's, basically a split carry back with Pollard. And, I mean, you watch him run, and Pollard looks like the better back, to be honest.
Oh,
So you're kind of just hoping with Zeke. I think last week or the week before, he got 2 TDs, and it was just kind of, luck of the draw and getting first and goal from the one a couple times. And, so with Zeke, I think you're kind of just hoping for TDs.
Yep. Kind
Yeah.
of like that Leonard Fournette a couple years ago, where he was just picking up all the touchdowns.
Yeah, I was watching the Cowboys game actually, and they were talking about how Pollard does look like the better back, but Elliott gets all the red zone touches.
Yeah.
So I guess that's beneficial for your team.
Definitely.
So week 7 recap. You want to take it away?
It's your matchup first.
Okay. Well, yeah, I took down who we thought was the juggernaut. Might have some chinks in the armor. Maybe he's got guys on bye. I'm not sure. 2 weeks, 2 losses in a row, and I was happy to give it to him. I also scored the second most points last week, so I was pretty excited about that. So, Bing, you're welcome for your second loss. I'm coming for that one spot. I think I've got a good team, and you guys better watch out now.
Aren't you like third to last?
We'll see where I'm at.
Then the next matchup there, we had Team Shits the Bed, old Tyson Matoza. He might be figuring out his team. The guy's been active on the waiver wire, active on the trades. He might have added some new pieces, or Joey might have just had a bad day. I'm not quite sure there. Looks like he had a bad day. So yeah, Tyson pulled out the win, 135-98. Great win for Tyson there, trying to dig himself out of the bottom of the barrel here and see where he can end up.
Joey did have the lowest points scored by 0.08 points. So I guess that helps in getting your wins. And also, I guess to go back to my matchup before we get to your matchup, Glaze, you were the most efficient manager. And I was looking at each lineup. Bing also actually was the most efficient manager. Both of you guys scored 100% of your total possible points you could have scored. So good job to both of you guys. Bing, it just wasn't enough for you. This second matchup was KJ, who apparently has a team that might actually be something to reckon with. He's also sitting now at 5-2 after taking down Lindo, who scores, under 100 points one week and then 180 the next week. So you never know what we're going to get with him. Nice job, KJ.
Love that matchup. Next up here, we had another guy that's been active on the trades. This might have helped him a lot here. We'll see how the rest of the season turns out. But old Matt with going to a chiropractor. I like that one. Beating old Quail Man 163-126. Kind of a situation here where one underperformed and one way overperformed. And of course, the way overperformed took the win on that one. So,
Doug, 3 losses in a row for Quail Man. Might want to right that ship. And then Donald, why don't you tell us about your matchup that you had there?
Oh, I just, the tough luck loser again. Glaze hit the 140 average that people have been scoring against me, and had a little tough luck with McCaffrey, but like I said, you got to trust the process, trust the team. Eventually someone's gonna not score 160 against me, but I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Your guys' matchup was actually the narrow victory. Not a whole lot of close matchups this week, but yours was the closest apparently at the end. Glaze beat you by 13%. Well done getting your first win.
Thank you guys. It feels good.
On the board.
Finally on the board. Appreciate it, Donald. I'll pay you later. League's getting more expensive by the day.
The least efficient manager, if anybody saw it, they say worst manager. I wouldn't say necessarily worst manager, but what was Tyson? Only scored 84% of his points, but still got a win. So nice job, Tyson. You didn't quite figure it out, but you figured it out. And then the biggest blowout was KJ. just change your name. It's over. They eat my ass, Ryan. It's not funny anymore.
I actually kind of like it.
And the highest was Matt Simone, just nudged me out by a few points, got 163. He's got a good team and he's active on the trades. We made a trade that I think we both like. And so you guys might want to watch out for Matt. I think he's coming up.
Yeah. Fucking man, I got to play him this week.
Well, good luck.
Feels real good to get a win. Here on our outstanding players of the week, old Joey Burrow going off this week for Tyson there. 42 points. Gotta love that. And then here's the kicker. Josh Jacobs. I think this is like 3 weeks in a row, over 30.
Dude, he's having a year, man.
Dude, guy's just going off. He's like, hey, Hall of Fame quarterback, hold my beer. I got this.
So I was looking at it this morning. In the first 3 weeks, he scored 31 total points. And that's when I almost traded him for like pennies on the dollar. And then you guys weren't willing to, didn't want the deal, didn't like it. Everybody's still kind of, we'll see what happens with my team. He's scored 30, 34, and 36 since then. So I'm not mad about it.
So glad I held on to Jonathan Taylor and didn't do that trade. That's really awesome.
I almost took off the kicker of the week and defense of the week just because who gives a shit? The kickers are scoring 14 points. It doesn't matter. But I left them on, just kind of moved the order. And I put the defense on just because the defense scored 20. A defense scored 26 points. I thought it was notable.
That's impressive. Kittle going off, getting 21 points. Gotta appreciate that. I'm sure Donald was a big fan of watching that happen.
Yeah, that was tough because I have him in my other league, so I'm rooting for him both ways.
It's like you want him to score, but not too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that feeling. And
especially since he's and on your team, your Niners team.
Yeah. It was definitely good to see him have a good week though, because he hasn't been producing just because they've had him so much in the run game lately.
But don't worry, he's the best tight end in the league, right?
It was interesting though, as a Niners fan, we'll try to keep the Niners talk to a minimum, but it was interesting to see him and Ayuk both come out and say that they've got too much talent on the team to only be scoring 23 points. So I thought that was a huge indictment of either Jimmy or Shanahan or both. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
And then the wide receiver of the week, I think this guy did most of this in the first half. That's the crazy part. He had 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I don't even think he touched the field the second half. Maybe a little bit in the third quarter, but he was out pretty early.
Well, the crazy thing too of that is Tyler Boyd scored 31 too.
Right?
That's on the same wide receiver.
4 points in your wide receivers on one team.
Yeah, I thought Burrow was going to put up 60 points the way that thing was going. Crazy. All right, so if you want to see on the left, just some of the waivers, some of the big waivers that happened at the wire there. Just thought I'd throw it out there. A couple of people went for Gus Edwards. I see that was the only one claim that had multiple claims for it. All the rest were just take what you want. I like the George Pickens pickup. I had him at the beginning of the year, drafted him last in the draft, and he just did diddly squat, so I dropped him. So I like that pickup because he's coming on.
Right, and if he keeps on coming on, I'm going to be able to keep him in that last draft spot where you drafted him.
I also had McCole Hardman and dropped him too because he also wasn't doing shit. I would have had a great team if I'd have just held on to him longer. Shit.
Would
have.
Doesn't matter.
Speaking of where our teams are at, why don't you show us that, Ryan?
All right, here. Still in first place, but barely there. 3-way tie at the top. We got Bing, KJ, and Lindo. I mean, you got an assortment there. I will give a special shout out, like you did earlier, to KJ. Dude, your team's been getting awesome. Real big improvement the last few weeks. So good to see that. Lindo, you're funny to watch, man. You remind me of all my bipolar ex-girlfriends, bro. Like sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. You never know how it's gonna work. So next up we got Quail Man. He's on 3 losses in a row, looking like a Titan. Start the season great and then just lose a bunch and get out of the conversation. Matt's been repairing his team through the trades. So it's awesome to see that he's been a constant high top performer. And then you want to go take it from there?
Yeah, auto draft Joe is moving down just as we thought because he's auto drafting and making 0 pickups. He's still the number 1 on the waiver wire for like the 6th week in a row. I guess he's content with his team that the computer picked for him. We've got me at 7. Really, to be honest with you, me and Tyson, we're kind of like Lindo. We're kind of shitty, then we're really good, and then we're kind of shitty again. So we'll see what happens if we can actually pull something together and keep going. Then we got Donald, who we've talked a lot about at 2 and 5, could easily be higher. Has just had crappy matchups, crappy weeks, and of people that you're going against. So I don't mind seeing you down there below me though.
At least I beat you though. I have that.
That's
Trevor
true.
likes when you're under him. Did you
Yeah.
catch that? And then last place, last but not least, your commish. Too busy taking care of the league to even pay attention to my team. That's the way it works. So, Donald, I got a quick question for you here. When you look at the standings on the year, we're on what, week 7?
Yeah, we're halfway through.
Week 7, halfway through. Have you played more of the top teams or more of the lower teams in that ranking, or kind of just spread out?
I think more of the top teams. I know I've played Bing. I know I've played KJ. They both had huge weeks against me. I played TK. I'm playing Tyson this week, so I feel like I've been more of the higher teams in the league so far.
Yeah, and then Glaze last week.
The worst in the league. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. I've been trending towards that 140. So
it definitely hurt losing to an 0-16. That's for sure. I thought for sure I'd at least get a win out of this last week, but
everybody thinks they're going to get a win when they play me. Like the Packers, bro. Come on.
Yeah. So Bing's got the most points scored at the moment. There was a point where he had over 100 points more than the next closest person. KJ's catching up to him. Who's third? It looks like Doug's still third.
Yeah, Doug.
Yeah, Doug's still third, and then Lindo and Donald, I believe, is the route that it goes for the top 5, and then Doug is kind of the same as you actually, because people have been going off on him, so now he has the highest points against, and then I believe it's you and then Donald. So nothing you can really do about that. That's just however the dice roll,
how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
Going into this final week preview here, I'm going to let Trevor go ahead and preview his own matchup. This should be a tight one here. Here we go.
Yeah, it's projected right now to be a tight one. I don't know if he has set his roster yet. I didn't look
still
at
within
it.
a 1.5.
So it's really just going to come down to whether or not, honestly, I think it comes down to whether or not Lamar and Mark Andrews do anything on KJ's team. My team, who knows? Maybe they hit their points, maybe they don't. I can't tell, but the way KJ's been going, I would not bet on myself this week.
Okay, there's that. Next matchup, we got Bing and old Auto Draft Joe. Scheduled to be a blowout here. Let's see if they've updated rosters. It doesn't appear he's updated it enough. Still going to be a blowout apparently. So we'll see what happens here. Bing going for that 140 mark again. Auto Draft Joe sitting at 107.
I think he has a couple guys on bye. He hasn't moved yet, so I kind of hope it stays that way.
Is he making M&Ms?
Maybe not. Maybe his team's just trash. Oh, the Chargers. Chargers, or unless they're projected to get 0 points. Yeah, they're on a bye.
Hey, Joe, change your defense.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got Doug versus Lindo. Pretty good matchup, actually. Lindo taking Doug's spot up there at the top. Doug still has a good team, but though he's on a three game slid, he's panicking a little bit in the chat I saw. And so hey, who knows? I kind of hope you guys draw, to be honest with you. Or at least I think I'm gonna root for Quellman just because I want Lindo to not be at the top. I want all the top teams to lose, actually, to be honest with you. Is that okay?
That's totally fine, man. Totally fine. Then here in the next matchup, it's myself against Mr. Simone here, and pray for me, boys. Just pray for me. He's been scoring pretty good. He always says I'm going to score 130, and normally I send up about 110, so I'm not worried about that too much. So should be a good. We'll see how the matchup goes. Let's just call it that.
Donald, tell us what you see in your matchup.
I mean, it's just, it's how my year's been going, man. I'm playing the lowest scoring team in the league, and Kelsey and Herbert are both on buys, and I'm projected for 120. So it's just, hopefully I can get a high score somewhere where I'm not anticipating it, but, we'll see.
Yeah. And like we talked about before, you've got Elliott as questionable. Though I think McCaffrey's going to have a lot better week, an extra week of preparation. Shanahan maybe feeling some hot seat a little bit. I think McCaffrey will have it says 17 points. I bet he gets closer to 25.
No, I agree. And playing against the Rams, there's definitely going to be some anger behind what just happened last week.
Yeah.
And a lot of dump offs. Yeah. To a sure-handed receiver who can take a dump off and take it 35 yards pretty much whenever he wants.
Yeah. Have you been active on the waiver wire, Donald, or have you been kind of set with like what you started with?
Like I said, I felt like I've had like a solid lineup this whole way through. So I think pick up Jamal Williams when Swift went down, and I've gone after a couple ones that I haven't been able to get. Someone wavered him above me, but I stayed pretty inactive. I mean, I had to pick up a tight end this week because with Kelsey out and figure out quarterback with Herbert being out, but I haven't gotten too crazy on the waivers.
Well, good. Then that's more for me. Now we come to the betting section of our I can't put it on the PowerPoint because then it'll be proof. But as our guest, as you may know from watching past ones, we do $5 a game. I still owe KJ $5, I think. But fuck him. We'll let you. Honestly, I suck at sports betting. You pick whoever you want. I'll just take the other person. I don't really care.
Well, you got to take yourself, right? So am I taking KJ over you?
Way to word that to take the better team. I like that.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Smart guy. I like that.
Very.
I would have done something a lot like that. Yes.
There's my first pick. What do you got?
All right. So I've got me then. All right. What do you got in the next matchup?
I mean, I'll take Bing. If you're gonna keep letting me pick him.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. I guess I gotta select who I'm doing. I got Joe. Auto draft Joe.
Next matchup, we got Quellman versus Lindo. Where are you gonna go here, Donald?
I'll go Lindo. I'll go for the upset in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Doug, enough with your freak. It's not the upset, actually. Lindo's got the better record.
Oh, I was just looking at the projections.
Okay.
Ooh, smart man. Week by week, individual. I like it. Next matchup, who you taking? Myself or Simone?
I gotta go with Simone.
That's where my money is too.
Perfect. That one in Blades. He's gonna start his win streak right now and come back and win this whole thing, or get second to me.
Second 2 years in a row.
And you gotta take yourself. So I got
absolutely.
All right. Well, get your $25 ready because that's what you'll be giving me.
You're going 5-0?
Yeah, 5-0 for the first time ever.
All right.
Normally it's like a $5 swing one way or another.
Yeah. I threw on some extra things here, some notable things. If the season ended today, that's what the playoff brackets would look like. Bing and KJ would have a bye. Then we'd have the 3 versus the 6 and the 4 versus the 5. And so still a lot of time. We're 7 weeks through, so we're halfway through. Though the trade deadline is week 11. So we only got about 4 more weeks, 3 more weeks to make any changes because we're in week 8 right now. So if you don't like your team, want to make some moves, it's working out good for Simone. I like the one that I made with him. There's been some other trades out there. Here's the trade block right there on the right, and maybe other people are available.
Whole team's available.
The worst thing that can happen is they could just reject. So if you see somebody you like, go for it.
Love it. Appreciate you guys jumping on and watching today. We'll get this going again next week, and good luck this weekend. I hope you all suck.
And thanks for coming on, Donald. Guess we won't see you on Friday because our softball team never shows up. So we'll see you next Friday.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we paid $30 each to play 2 games.
Yeah, gotta love playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, fellas.
All right, appreciate your time, bud. Catch you later.
All right, later.